sports. We are sports. We are Southeast.
We join you once more from beautiful Miami, Florida, where a spectacular crowd is gathering. It's Kids Day, Campers Day here at Marlins Park. The roof is on. It's going to be loud. Not just all the kids yelling and screaming, but the ringing sound of base hits off the Braves' bats, which we saw in Game 1 last night. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. 12-1 the final score last night for Atlanta with the Braves win and Phillies loss. Atlanta back in a tie for first in the National League East. And partner, the game got going very quickly for the Atlanta offense. The top four hitters are in their best form of the season right now.
They are on fire, Chip, and they are really showing it off here on this road trip. In the 3 games, a combined average of .456. That includes an at-bat for Ozzie Albies in Washington before he got hurt. Extra base hits, they're just flying all over the place, including 3 or 4 home runs. Lots of doubles, 9 doubles, I think it is. 14 runs scored. They are getting it done, and everybody's on a little bit of a hitting streak, too.
Yeah, everybody in the lineup tonight has at least a hitting streak of 2 games or more, and the man starting today is Julio Teheran, who you know in the back of his mind is saying, hey, fellas, save me a few for today, but the way he pitched last time, he might only need 1 or 2 runs.
He was outstanding against the Diamondbacks right before the All-Star break. Pitched a great ball game. What you're going to see here is great location with his fastball and an outstanding slider. He's going to need this today because earlier in the season, the Miami Marlins roughed him up a little bit. In fact, big time in Atlanta, and that was the day that the Braves were able to rally for 6 runs in the 9th inning and take him off the hook. But he's coming off that outing where he went 6+ innings, a 4-hit shutout ball. Let's hope he's got that kind of stuff today.
Well, you know, Wei-Yin Chen's going to have good stuff. One of the best pitchers in his home ballpark of any starter in the National League. So it'll be a tough assignment for the Bravos here in Game 2 after a quick turnaround last night. Paul Bird's with us as well. He'll have more with us from Miami as the Braves and Fish wrap up this brief 2-game series next.
Really good players would come up to me and go, "What's it like to play for Bobby Cox? What's it like?" And nobody ever says a bad word about Bobby, ever. Not even the 160 plus umpires that threw him out of games.
We'll be celebrating number 10 all week long, including more from that interview during Thursday's telecast, followed by the main event this weekend. Catch coverage from Cooperstown Friday through Monday during our Braves and Dodgers series presented by Mizuno. Well, what was it like to play for Bobby Cox? Well, everybody wants to know what it was like to be a teammate of Chipper Jones. I was able to talk to Martin Prado over at the Marlins earlier, who sent out a big thank you to Chipper, saying that when he got to the Braves, he was a utility man and he didn't feel too much of a part of the team, and Chipper Jones came over and took him under his wing. They loved talking hitting, and he said there was nobody better at picking up pitches than Chipper. But he said one thing that impressed him one day was he asked Martin, "Hey, what do you think?" And he said, "Well, I think I need to get my hands up. I need to do this." And he looked at Martin and said, "No, I'm talking about me. From the right side, I'm struggling. Do you see anything?" Which Martin really appreciated his humility, and that a Hall of Famer would ask him that kind of question. His last thing to Chipper, he said, "Hey, Chip, now that you are a Hall of Famer, don't big league me the next time you see me." Well, we don't have any question Chipper Jones will remain the same. He'll still have that same swagger. He'll just be a Hall of Famer. Well, Marlins Park, we got Julio Teheran coming up next. Been throwing very, very well. Big game for the Braves. See if they can sweep and take the second.
In South Florida, it's been storming again all morning long as we wrap up this two-game series here before a big crowd of youngsters. They've got campers all over the ballpark, so it's going to be noisy, loud, and probably very exciting for them on a rainy afternoon here in Miami.
Yeah, a bunch of them were wet too when they were standing in line to get in the ballpark.
Yeah. Well, last night the Braves had 12 runs, 7 two-out runs, 16 hits. And so no changes for Brian Snitker, with the exception of Tyler Flowers behind the plate. Day game after night game. Don't fix what isn't broken. Ronald Acuna has been terrific out of leadoff spot. Let's hope Atlanta Joe can jump on Wei-Yin Chen, the Marlins starter, who's been very tough on his home mound this year.
Yeah, but check out these splits, Chip. They're absolutely amazing. That's the biggest differential between home and road ERA in baseball. and his home ERA is in the top 5 in all of baseball at 1.83. He's coming off a good start against Philadelphia, as of course we just talked about Julio coming off a good start. Chen as well against the Phillies. 6 innings, only 1 run allowed, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. His fastball sits in the low 90s. Curveball, changeup, slider.
So the Braves will try to sweep this series and maintain a share of first place in the division when we head back home. Off day tomorrow, then a big 4-game series with the Dodgers starts at SunTrust Park on Thursday night. So Acuna is ready to go. 8 hits out of the #1 spot on the road trip. He scored 5 runs. He's stolen a couple of bases, and he's knocked in 3 since moving to the first spot on the lineup card. So we are ready to go. It's game 2, Braves and Marlins from Marlins Park. And he didn't get a fastball. There's that low 90s heat. Strike 1 for Ronald, and we are underway. Eight homers, 22 knocked in for the Braves outfielder. As Chen missed badly that time. High, even count. Braves are a very good team against left-handed pitchers. They've won 15 games against opposing left-handed starters. As this one's hit towards short. Riddle's got it. Long throw and just did get it. So Acuna's retired to start the game on a ground ball out. JT Riddle getting his first start in the series. 1 man down. Here's Culberson.
Hottest guy in the league, isn't he?
Oh, wasn't that fun yesterday?
Career high 4 hits. 9 for 15 since he came in to fill in for Ozzie Albies in Washington. With damage. Homer, a couple of doubles.
And he takes a strike. So on this road trip, Charlie Culberson's merely 9 for 15 at the plate. Amazing. 3-game hitting streak for him. And this one's up the middle. Riddle to his left. Got a tricky hop, but a bad throw. Bohr saved him at first. And there's the second out. Charlie looking at the Braves dugout. He's not sure about that one. He thinks Bohr might have left the base. So no challenge. So Chen gets a couple of ground ball outs to start. Now Freddie Freeman stands in. Freddie's riding a 7-game hitting streak. He's got 11 hits in his last 31 at bats. And Chen misses low, ball 1.
Good numbers against the left-hander too. Freddie's 6 for 12 against him.
One ball, 1 strike. And then with that count, the Marlins change their shift. Instead of Riddle being on the first base side of second, they move Martin Prado over there. Interesting. And Freeman beats the shift with a base hit to right. He just keeps on sizzling against left-handed pitchers. Freddie came in with a .355 mark against southpaws. Didn't miss that one.
And he extends his streak in the first inning. He's up to 8 games. Having a great road trip.
So Markakis with 2 outs. Nick has an 11-game hitting streak. And batting .321 for the year. 10 homers and 62 knocked in. Nick, another Brave that hits lefties well, although Chen has given him some trouble. He's faced him 10 times. Nick has 2 hits. I mean, the numbers you showed on the Marlins pitcher really are amazing. And 9-run difference between his homework and his road work. That's almost impossible.
It seems like it would be. Kind of like his splits on hitters too, lefties and righties. Left-handers at 228, right-handers 295, and 9 of the 11 homers he's given up have been to right-handers.
I mean, I can understand him having good numbers in this park. This is a, on paper, terrific pitcher's park. But not 8.5, 9 runs difference. Gen 2 and 7 on the year. A 5.75 ERA. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss takes care of Markakis and the Braves in a scoreless first inning. Julio Teheran will go to work. They will face off with Julio Teheran, partner, who's looking for his 8th win.
And he's always pitched well here. 5-3, a 3.04 ERA. And in 6 of those 9 starts, 2 earned runs or less. And as we told you, coming off a great start against Arizona at home right before the All-Star break when he went 6 1/3 innings of 4-hit shutout ball. His 4 keys to pitching success today. As you saw in some of those highlights from Arizona, he was really hitting that outside corner with his fastball. So that'll be a key again today. Spot that fastball where he wants it. And 3 of his last 4 starts have been brilliant. And we're going to throw the one out that he was sick when he pitched at New York against the Yankees. The other 3 games, a total of 17 1/3 innings, only 1 run allowed, 8 walks, that's a little bit of a hiccup, and 15 strikeouts, but only 1 home run in those 3 starts also.
So Julio's on a nice roll. Let's hope it continues with Derek Dietrich leading off for the Fish. And he yanks one out of play, foul for a swinging strike 1. Dietrich came on last night, had 2 appearances at the plate, struck out both times, including once with the bases loaded for Miami in the 4th inning. And he will strike out 95 times in 341 at bats. But he of late has been a hot hitter, and there's some talk that he might be a guy that might be acquired by someone looking for a bat, as the trade deadline is 1 week from today.
Well, he's forced to play the outfield because of the acquisition of Starlin Castro. Second base is his normal position, and again, if there's a team that needs a second baseman, especially one with this kind of pop, he would be very attractive. But man, oh man, does he just try to lift and separate? No, not much in between.
It's an interesting choice to lead off, man with 95 strikeouts. As that one's bounced into the seats foul, still 1-2. He does have 7 hits against Julio, 2 of those hits homers. Lifted out of play, foul. We'll do it again.
Boy, he put that right on the glove of Tyler Flowers. Tyler wanted one upstairs out of the zone, and Dietrich still got a piece of it.
Dietrich hanging tough here in the first inning. He'll see a 7th pitch. Rays have had their way with the Marlins. They've won 6 out of 8 games head-to-head this year. Big reason why Atlanta has a 29-15 divisional record this year. They've taken care of business in the East. And there's that high heat. Dietrich can't lay off, and he strikes out for the 3rd time in the series. Good start for Julio. 1 up, 1 down. And here's the rest of Don Mattingly's Toyota starting lineup. Brian Anderson 2nd. JT Realmuto back in there behind the plate, hitting 3rd. Justin Bohr accounted for their lone run with a homer. Starlin Castro, Martin Prado, Riddle, Magnerius Sierra, the former Cardinal farmhand, is the center fielder today. Anderson at 280, 8 homers. And lifted out of play. Strike 1. Hey, one of the campers brought a glove, made a terrific catch on that pop-up. Nice work. 0-1 pitch. Is lined into right, and it'll be played on a hop by Markakis. So Anderson has his first hit of the series, and he's aboard in front of Realmuto.
Kind of snaps out of a dry spell for him. He'd been 1 for his last 15. And both he and Dietrich aggressive early in the count.
Here's Realmuto. Realmuto stayed in the game until the end of the 6th inning last night. With this Marlins club looking for offense any way they can get it. They wanted to give him a couple of innings off with the day game coming early after last night's affair. And JT back in there behind the plate. Realmuto at .303 on the year, 12 homers. And that just missed. Ball 1. Will Realmuto be a Marlin on August 1st? .1-0 pitch. Is in for a strike. Read something online today about the Washington Nationals, who have been in, shall we say, some dialogue with the Marlins about Realmuto. The asking price about a month ago was too high for Mike Rizzo. Something I read today said that they may be willing to move Oscar Robles in a deal for Realmuto. Robles, their #1 prospect. Fly ball well hit toward left. Acuna's going to watch that one, and it's going to go a long homer for Realmuto. It's 2-0 Miami. The price just went up. Realmuto hit his 13th.
I'll be very surprised if he's not a Marlin August 1. They need somebody to build around, and he's the guy. And if he does go to another club, somebody's going to be mighty fortunate to put him in their uniform, no matter what the price.
So that's the 19th homer Julio has surrendered, and he's down 2-0. And the first inning has been a bugaboo for him this year.
Yeah, how about that? All those homers in the first inning.
So a single and a homer with 1 out brings up Justin Bohr, who homered here last night. Boer's been a Braves killer, as you know. And that's up and away, ball 2. Julio's fastball velocity against Arizona was 92-93, and pretty consistently so. He's down a tick or two here in the early going in Miami. And the count 2-1 for Justin Boer. 13-40, not too shabby in 51 career games against Atlanta pitching. Julio's not getting many swings and misses here. A lot of foul balls against him in this opening inning. And he's about to throw his 18th pitch. He did get a swing and a miss by Dietrich for the game's first out.
Really missed there with his target, which was up and in.
And he missed badly with a breaking ball. So Boer walks, 2 in, 1 out, and Starlin Castro's coming up.
Talked about the hiccup with the walks in those 3 starts that I was highlighting. He has walked 3 or more in 10 of his last 11 starts.
The other part of that is the league hitting only 200 in that stretch, but their on-base percentage, Joe, 100 points higher.
Right.
So he's made it a lot tougher on himself with that lack of control. And now he's got Boer at first and Castro up there. Castro, the second baseman, led off last night, went 0 for 3. And he drives the first pitch deep toward right center field. Back goes Ender to the warning track, and he's got plenty of room to make the grab. That ball was hit a long way by Starlin Castro, but he's the second out.
And he went after the first pitch.
Here's Martin Prado. Martin had a base hit last night. His bid for a second hit was denied on a great running catch by Ender in the 6th inning. That good movement and called a strike. Loved Paul Bird's story with Martin Prado about Chipper Jones. Martin still one of the most beloved Braves in franchise history. And when Chipper had his number 10 retired, I'll never forget the ultimate compliment he paid Martin.
Yeah, singling him out as Martin and his teammates were on the rail listening to every word.
Said he was his favorite teammate ever. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a swing and a miss. It's 1-2. JT Realmuto with a 2-run homer has gotten the scoring started today. Little payback. Atlanta got a 2-run homer from Freddie Freeman in the first inning last night. And a bouncing ball right to Charlie. He's got it. And the flip to first is in plenty of time. Long inning for Julio. A 24-pitch frame. Realmuto's homer gives Chen and company a 2-0 lead. Jones Hall of Fame replica plaque presented by SunTrust. And if you're one of the first 20,000 through the gate Saturday, August 18th, you'll get your own Chipper Crazy Train bobblehead presented by Napa. Get all the Chipper details at Braves.com.
You know what's a crack up about that bobblehead is he's got a shin guard on.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Perfect. So perfect start for the Marlins. Real Muto a home run. Chen a quick 12-pitch first inning. He leads 2-zip. Tyler Flowers will lead off for the Braves. Tyler's been raking left-handed pitching all year. Let's see if that continues today. And this Braves club hits lefties very well, but this guy in this park is no ordinary lefty. One ball, no strikes. And that missed outside. Doug Eddings has the plate. 2-0 the count. Just like that, Flowers in the driver's seat. 3 balls, no strikes.
Would be a nice way to start the second inning after falling behind. Leadoff man aboard.
Chen was a big winner with the Orioles back in 2014. He won 16 games that year. Followed it up with an 11-8 season in 2015. The Marlins scooped him up as a free agent, gave him a 5-year deal before the 2016 season. He's won 9 games in his first 3 seasons as a Marlin.
Can't keep him on the field. Can't keep him in the rotation.
So a nice comeback from 3-0. Flowers caught looking at the knees. Chen strikes him out, and that's how the second inning starts. 1 down.
He's got a nice delivery. It's real compact. There's no real max effort on his release. It's quick arm action. Just turned 33.
Left arm fatigue cost him a lot of time last year. He pitched in only 9 games for Miami last season. This year, his start to the year began solely because of a left elbow problem. A left elbow strain, to be exact.
Six feet, 195 pounds, out of Taiwan.
Johan Camargo, the batter, takes outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Johan with a 4-game hitting streak. He knocked in a pair of runs last night and has knocked in 27 runs since June 1st. This one's hit high in the air toward left. Dietrich going back to the track, to the wall. He's not going to get it. It's in the Clevelander. Johan Camargo's hit a home run right-handed, and the Braves are on the board.
Fifth of the year right-handed. When he got his hands through there. Real Muto wanted that up a little bit, didn't get it up enough.
So the Braves have one of those runs right back. Here's Ender. He's off to a flying start in the second half, and Ciarte 6 for 13 at the plate since the All-Star break. And as Joe mentioned last night, Ender has always been a big-time second half producer at the plate. Hoping that continues for Atlanta. Ender at .249 for the year. Takes a breaking ball way high. I'm sure Andy would agree. One area where he also hopes to improve is his work against left-handed pitching. Lefties have held him to a .214 batting average. And this one popped up. Prado says he's got it. He tells Riddle, get out of the way. And Martin puts the squeeze on that for the second out. Swender pops out after the Camargo homer. 2-1 game for Dansby Swanson. Dansby's had 2 real good games in a row at the plate. He hit a home run here last night and scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, again, his road trip numbers may not jump out at you, 3 for 12, but he's hit the ball hard, and he's had some really good at bats, moving runners over, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs on a ground ball. Real solid at bats.
That's a tough place to hit in the National League too. Hitting 8th in front of the pitcher. Dansby's still done some good damage. 8 homers, 38 knocked in, batting .253. And he'd love to reach, and at the very least, get Julio Teheran up here in this second inning. Julio waits next.
Good changeup. Really a good spot.
So full count. Good cut at that one, and Dansby will see another pitch.
Another changeup.
Martin at third makes the play and the quick release in time, and that retires the side. Johan Camargo in double digits in homers. His 10th cuts the Miami lead in half. After 1.5, it's the Marlins 2, the Braves 1. Down only 1 run now. He'll have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming up. Riddle, Magnerius Sierra, and Wei-Yin Chen.
He got the first inning out of the way.
Yeah. 24 pitches, 8 of those were to Derek Dietrich, who went down swinging. Anderson a base hit, Real Muto a homer, then a walk, and a fly out, and then Martin Prado grounded out to end the inning. JT Riddle at 250 on the year. Was 0 for 1 last night and takes a strike. Riddle made his big league debut against the Braves last April 11th. Got his first big league hit on April 12th against the Braves last season.
Freddie Gonzalez was talking about him yesterday before the ball game about how he has a great clock, that he never gets in a hurry defensively. He knows how much time he has.
That ball's clocked to center. Ender on the run to the track and at the wall makes the grab.
Great center fielders love big ballparks. This is a big ballpark. It plays even bigger, I think, than the dimensions. 407 to straightaway center. So when somebody hits one like this, like they did last night, where you've got a chance to turn and run, you love it. Because it's going to have to really be cracked to get out of here.
Especially to straightaway center where it's 407 feet. As posted on the wall. That's as big as they come in our league. And Ender tracked it down a step shy of the wall. 1 out. Here's Magnerius Sierra. And a swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2.
Just called up from New Orleans, where he was hitting 260, couple of homers, 14 stolen bases.
He was part of the Marcell Ozuna deal, and he just struck out on a check swing. And somebody in the Marlins dugout is barking at Doug Eddings, who we know can have a short fuse or two.
Yeah, that mask will come off real quick.
So Julio's got the first 2 down. Here's Chen. Chen, a 136 hitter. He's knocked in a couple of runs. He's struck out 9 times. Throws left, bats right. And Julio could use an easy inning after 24 first inning tosses. He's about to make his 9th pitch here in the 2nd. And that'll end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Tehran. He's set down 5 straight. He'll lead off the 3rd inning in a 1-run game. and alumni photos on the field. Head to Braves.com/alumni to get your tickets for Alumni Weekend and see the full schedule of events. That is always John Smoltz's favorite weekend of the year.
Absolutely.
Because you put his uniform on, he can put his baseball cap on, not say a word, and just get out and hit home runs.
Quietly.
Yes.
Yes, quietly go about his business. Enjoy the adoration of his teammates. Trot. He's probably working on his trot right now.
Pretty good chance. Yep. So we always look forward to Alumni Weekend. I'm sure we'll have a lot of the Braves alumni in the booth in early August. Certainly, we hope Chipper Jones will join us after his induction in the Hall of Fame, which is coming up this weekend.
One of the guys that always comes back and does well in the softball game is Mark Wohlers. I'd love for him to come up and chat with us. We haven't seen Mark in a long time up in the booth. I hope he has a chance.
Yeah, we had a great feature on Mark on our Fox family of networks. Talking about how Mark loves to go fishing with his son. And that was really well done. So, yeah, it'd be great to have Mark. So we look forward to having you join us for Alumni Weekend at beautiful SunTrust Park. Julio Teheran leads off. Then Acuna, then Culberson versus Wei-Yin Chen, who leads by a run, 2-1. Julio, a 167 hitter for the year. And a little low, ball one. Chen often has a lot of base runners, about 1.5 per inning. That doesn't often happen to him here at home.
I'm surprised it's only 1.5, because when you add the walks and hits together, that's a lot of people. 51 walks at the start of play today. Excuse me. 28 walks, 80 hits. That was what it was. 108 base runners in 72 innings.
And he's gone 3-0 to the pitcher. Who takes strike. 3-1 to count.
Good idea by Julio. Make him throw another one.
And he just walked the pitcher. Wow, look at Chen. He can't believe it. 3-0 count, then got it full and then missed badly on a payoff pitch, and that opens the door for a potential big inning for Atlanta. With Acuna, Culberson, and Freeman coming up, walking the pitcher's a bad idea. As Joe said, this fearsome foursome for Atlanta has had a great road trip. Let's see what Acuna can do with the pitcher aboard and nobody out. Acuna bounced out to short his first time up. Big shift on for him. He's got the whole right side to play with, and he hit the ball to right a couple of times last night. Would be a bad idea to try it here. There's the shift.
He's taking off speed pitches the other way too, which I really was impressed with.
All of a sudden, Chen can't find the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike. Mentioned last night, 9 teams in the National League have more strikeouts than hits this year. The Braves are not one of those clubs. That was called a strike. Pretty generous call for Doug Eddings there. 2-2. That's into the stands, and we'll do it again.
May have chased another pitch out of the zone there after getting the one before called on him.
That was close.
I like what Charlie Culberson had to say to Paul last night in his post-game interview about having a game plan. We had a game plan for the game last night. Everybody executed, played well, and I like what the Braves are doing with that.
That's hammered to the shortstop. Julio wandered too far off first, and he's going to be doubled up. So that hurts. A walk to the pitcher, a line out to short that turns into a double play, and now Culberson hits with 2 out.
That was just bad base running on Julio's part. Pitcher running, crack of the bat, take off. No, I like what they're having, basically a meeting every day to go over that night's opponent, that night's starting pitcher, and going over tendencies, what he likes to go to when he's ahead in the count, maybe for strikeout pitches, that sort of thing. So they're well versed for anyone that wants it for that information, and as Charlie said last night, they were well prepared.
It's pretty amazing to me too. Here we are about 100 games into the season, and we just had the All-Star break, so a bit of an asterisk to this statement, but you spend so much time in the locker room, so much time with your teammates, so much time on buses and airplanes. Human nature being what it is, you would think the last thing you want to do is get to another meeting. Yet they've stuck through a plan that's obviously working for this club as we enter the most important part of the schedule.
Yeah, Kevin Seitzer, Jose Castro, and the advanced guys, Rob Smith, Braden Schlehuger, putting together the videos and what have you, compiling all that information.
Talk about tireless workers. That group would be Exhibit A. Pop fly foul and into the seats.
There can be paralysis by analysis. You can overdo it. You can fill your head with too much stuff when you go to the plate. So it's not something that you have to cram for and study for. If you want it, or if you have a question about what's this guy's out pitch, then it's readily available for you.
Swing and a miss. Culberson is down on strikes, and Chen wiggles off the hook after walking Julio to lead off the inning.
I gotta tell you, there's been a lot of talk. What do the Braves need? What do they need to do at the trade deadline? Well, this may surprise you. Their starters, .594, best winning percentage in the National League, and a 3.58 ERA, second to only St. Louis in the National League. Doing a great job through all the young guys coming up and the injuries, and it needs to be called out. Chip and Joe.
So, Paul, what is your opinion? What are, even with those good numbers you just told us about, where do the Braves go? What do they need to do to have what they need to win it?
Well, I'm not saying they don't need to pick up a starter. I would like to see them pick up a starter because guys get injured again, and I would love to see them pick up more of a dominant starter for playoff time.
Derek Dietrich with a base hit to lead off the third. Go ahead, Paul.
So if there's a chance to get a guy like a DeGrom, yes, I would go get that guy because I think the time is now. Could they use some bullpen help? Absolutely, one or two guys. A lot of those guys, talking to pitching coach Chuck Hernandez, he said they're being tested for the first time in their career with the major league season. And a lot of those guys, and I'm talking about a full season, uninjured, but a lot of those guys too have never experienced failure. So when they've gone through a rough stretch up here, he had to sit some of those guys down and just tell them, it's okay. You're in the big leagues. These are the best hitters in the world. Shake it off and get ready to go second half.
Anderson with a swing and a miss. Strike one to him. Well, the deadline's a week from today. Alex Anthopoulos was quoted yesterday as saying that the Braves have the wherewithal to get a starter, a bat, and bullpen help. Those are the three areas that we've all talked about over the course of the year. We'll see if the Braves are able to find a trade partner. I do like what Alex has said. He doesn't want to give up prized prospects for rental players.
No, I get that.
No balls and a strike for Anderson. Dietrich with a good lead. He is chased back.
It also makes the chore that much more difficult because, like the Braves, other teams want to hang on to their players that they have control over for the next couple of 3 years also.
Joe West was motioning into the Marlins dugout. Wonder if somebody thought Julio was balking. Joe came out in front of the first base bag and was waving his hands toward the Miami dugout as if to say enough. Interesting. No balls and a strike. And up and away, even count. Well, you mentioned Jacob deGrom. More tough luck for deGrom yesterday. The Mets lost 3-2. An unearned run cost him the decision of the game last night. And John Paul Morosi of Fox Sports had an amazing stat on deGrom that I'll share with you after this pitch. Which is lined into center field, a base hit. Dietrich rounds the bag at second. The ball got under Ender's glove and rolls back toward the center field fence. Dietrich will score. Anderson on his way to third. Throw beats him. Julio backs it up. Everybody's safe, and Miami adds to their lead. It's 3-1. I don't think I've ever seen Ender have a ball roll under his glove.
I don't either. But you know what? We talk all the time about the aggressive base running of the Atlanta Braves and the pressure they put on opponents. Look where Ender's eyes were. They weren't on the baseball. He was watching Dietrich, who he saw make a big move towards second base like he was going to go to third. And when Ender looked up to check him, he didn't get the baseball. Aggressive base running, or even the threat of it, can cause some mistakes. And that's a rare one from Inciarte.
So Miami leads 3-1. The infield comes in for Real Muto, who's already hit a home run. "13 homers for the Marlins catcher." And that's upstairs. That note on deGrom. He is on pace to become the first pitcher in the modern era to finish the season with a sub-2 ERA and fewer than 10 wins. Amazing. If you'll pardon the pun, the pitch.
Yeah.
2-0.
For you folks in the Atlanta area who remember the kind of high school career that Jeff Francoeur had at Parkview High School, JT Realmuto was Oklahoma's version of that in 2009 and 10.
To left, Acuna sets up. There's the catch. Runner tags. Here comes his throw. It is off target. And a sacrifice fly by Realmuto plates the 4th Miami run.
2 state championships in football, 2 in baseball. He was the National High School Player of the Year. He drove in over 100 runs in high school his senior year. Averaged over 2 per game.
I got to ask you a question. How good are the high school coaches in Oklahoma? Wouldn't you walk him?
That's a good question.
Yikes.
Well, you should have walked Francoeur a few times too.
Right. So Realmuto's knocked in 3 of the 4 Miami runs. And now Bohr the batter with 1 out. Marlins giving the Braves a taste of their own medicine from last night. The top of their order, very productive in game 2. Bohr walked his first time up. Julio's walked 52 guys. 39 of those walks have been to left-hand hitters.
Sometimes we'll talk about one of the Braves starting pitchers not missing by much, but missing. Julio's missing by a lot. And you can see the disgust on his face on that pitch. That was a changeup. Tyler had a low target, and it was up and away, well off the mark.
Julio with a little Bartolo Colon-like action. Did you see that? Standing on top of the mound, just kind of flipping the baseball in the air. Trying to regain a little composure here as 4 straight well off the mark. And Bohr's aboard on a walk for the 2nd time. Dansby Swanson joins this conversation because he wants to know what adjustments Flowers and Tehran might make as far as sequencing or finding a pitch that might work. That'll help Dansby position himself at shortstop. So here's Castro. Castro flied out his first time
and went after the first pitch.
Starlin Castro, part of the Marlins return for Giancarlo Stanton. Jose Devers and Jorge Guzman, the other players that came back from the Yankees. And a bouncing ball to short. Dansby's got it. There's 1. There's 2. Julio needed that. So 2 singles. A costly error in center and a sac fly later. Miami leads 4-1. 2018. A first inning single today gives him 16 hits in 33 at-bats against the Miami pitching staff. Joe, 5 homers, 10 RBIs for the Braves all-star first baseman. And he's our Zaxby's indescribably good player.
And as you see these numbers and appreciate the good work, it wasn't always that way here, especially in this ballpark. Remember, he went through some periods of like horrible 4 for 40 type stuff that nobody could figure out. Well, he got it straightened out. He's making up for lost time.
And that first inning base hit, a single over the unfair shift for a left-hand hitter. And they've got it on again. Riddle, Castro, and Bohr, the defenders. And that's off the plate. Nationals had a tough time last night. Milwaukee beat them, and the old "I'm not going to run on a ball and play" bug bit him again. This time it wasn't Bryce Harper, but somebody else surprisingly got caught napping at the plate.
Yeah, arguably the fastest guy in the National League, Trey Turner, tried to put down a bunt, halfway dodging the pitch, kind of fell backward. Ball went into fair territory, but he decided to just stand there and let them pick up the ball and tag him rather than run. It's a long season, you got to save your energy.
Maybe he had too many pierogies in Milwaukee. As another shot toward right, Anderson dives and makes the play on a sinking line drive for the first out. Wasn't the prettiest of routes, but it got the job done. There's the first out.
Well, if it weren't for Martin Prado, as we pointed out last night, he'd be playing third base. But he's doing a pretty good job out there, and he's got a terrific throwing arm.
Chen likes it. Freeman's retired. Here's Markakis. Gary Sanchez of the Yankees had a little bit of a lackadaisical run down the first base line that cost the Yankees a game yesterday. Kind of an epidemic. That's in for a strike. That used to drive my grandfather crazy.
Your dad too.
Harry used to say, you know, they pay you to run hard 4 times a game. And a bouncer toward Riddle at short. Chen's racking up the ground outs. There's the second out of the inning. And Tyler Flowers, the batter. Tyler got ahead 3-0, then struck out looking. So he's 0 for 1. Nationals are in Milwaukee again tonight. Hellickson and Junior Guerra will be the mound opponents. Guerra coming off the disabled list. Mets host San Diego. Zach Wheeler pitching for the Mets. Eric Lauer for the Padres. The game for the Phillies and Braves is, well, this one in Miami, of course, but pay attention to the Dodgers and Phillies. Aaron Nola and Kenta Maeda hook up at Citizens Bank Park.
And they had home run derby last night. 7-6 final. A lot of homers. It's almost like Larry Anderson was pitching.
2 balls, no strikes. Well, you know, if Larry was working the game on radio, all that hot air coming out of the analyst chair probably pushed the ball out toward left and left center at Citizens Bank. They play at 7:05 tonight. That's high. Ball 3. Johan Camargo is the man on deck. He's counted for the Braves run on a homer. And a base on balls with 2 outs. So 2 walks for Chen. And here is Camargo. His homer extended his batting streak to 5 consecutive games. His homer also our StatCast feature powered by AWS.
384-footer into the Clevelander. Only run on the board so far for Atlanta.
to the left side. Prado scoops and throws to second, and that's the inning. Chen is through 4 innings of work with a 4-1 lead. This year, that is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
How about the run differential? Really jumping on them in a big way last night. 12-1. Good ERA against them. But trailing today, need to mount a little comeback here against Chen, who seems to be sharp,
as he often is on his home mound. Martin Prado, JT Riddle, and Magnerius Sierra, the hitters for the Marlins. Sierra, the former Cardinal, will come up third. Prado bounced out to Charlie Culberson, then into the opening inning for Miami. And that bounced up there. 1 ball, no strikes. Speaking of the Cardinals, I don't know if you checked the box score out last night with St. Louis and Cincinnati. The Reds beat St. Louis as Bud Norris had some trouble in the bottom of the 9th inning at the Great American Ballpark. But that wasn't the story of the game. Cardinals have a pitcher named Daniel Ponce de Leon, who made his major league debut last night. He went 7 innings of no-hit ball in his first major league appearance. But as the great Paul Harvey would say, that's not even half the story. His is the most remarkable of debuts, and not having pitched a single major league game, most amazing of comebacks. For last year, Ponce de Leon was hit in the head with a line drive. He had a brain bleed that required emergency surgery. Made it through all of that, and less than a year later is pitching in the major leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Mighty impressive.
Pretty amazing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a slow dribbler. Flowers pounces, got to it quickly and got his man. That was a good play.
That was a really good play. He was trying to get to that before it rolled foul. He wanted the out. Watch the big cat bounce out of there and then did a 360 spin and made a good throw. Nicely done.
So JT Riddle with 1 out. Riddle flied to center. He hit the ball very hard. Ender tracked down and stepped shy of the fence. Julio, a nice play, reaching to his right. And Riddle's the second out.
That was going to be a tough play for Swanson because Riddle runs well. Nice play. Two good defensive efforts. It's what makes the unearned runs last inning so rare for Atlanta when they did make an error, is that they're the first unearned runs Julio's given up all year.
Yeah, they've covered up whatever mistakes they've made. And Sierra bats and slices one out of play. Sierra came from the Cardinals, made his major league debut last May 7th in Atlanta with the Cardinals. He went from single A Palm Beach to the big leagues. Hit .317 in 22 games with the Redbirds. And he bounces this one out towards second, and the throw to first is in time. 3 up, 3 down. Two good defensive plays for Atlanta as this game heads to the 5th. And more. RBI Baseball 18's available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. 1E for Atlanta. That cost them a run. Marlins 4, Braves 1 in game 2 as we head to the top of our 5th inning. Bottom part of the order is coming up. Our 5th inning is always sponsored by Audi. And a swing and a miss by Inciarte. Strike one, and it's Audi Q5. Can't leave that out. Wouldn't say Chen's been overpowering in this game, but he's certainly been effective. A couple of walks for him. Got him with 3 strikeouts in the game.
Yeah, he's been behind in the count some and been able to pitch around that. No real trouble areas.
There's a shot to left. Ender on an 0-2 count. Serves one into left field. That's a good sign. He keeps up his good work in the second half. Ender now 7 for 15 at the plate after the All-Star break.
This is a real good example of being behind in the count, choking up a little bit, shortening up your swing, and serving one out over short. That pitch was right where Real Muto wanted it, and Ender spoiled it.
Well, something we saw last night was the bottom of the order feeding the top. Let's see if Atlanta can do that here. We got Swanson, then Tehran in a 3-run game. First pitch popped up right towards center, and Sierra is there, and he puts it away for the first out. Braves have the makings of a rally in the 3rd inning when Chen walked Tehran to lead off the frame. Ronald Acuna hit a line drive to shortstop, and Julio wandered too far off first and was easily doubled up. Charlie Culberson struck out, and that was it. Bunted hard back to the mound. Chen will take the sure out at first base, and he almost handcuffed Castro. So the sacrifice works. Ender at second for Acuna, 2 outs.
Julio was tied for the team lead in sacrifices last night by Sean Newcomb, but Julio gets it back with that effort. Braves need some of their 2-out magic again right here.
192 out runs for the Braves this year. 7 runs with 2 outs last night. 7 of their 12. And that's way high. Ball 1. So this is where it gets dangerous for Wei-Yin Chen. You look at his splits. First time through the order, opponent's hitting .221. Second time through, .295. Third time through, .400. Well, he's starting his 3rd trip through here with Acuna. And he missed badly. Ball 2. .3-0. Another base runner brings the tying run to the plate.
Well, maybe Acuna can get another good pitch to hit like he hit so hard his last time up. Find a gap. And maybe trade places with Ender.
That's up and in. Ball 4. So Chen with some 2-out trouble. And Culberson will be the hitter. 3rd walk for Chen, who, as we told you, he will have a base runner or 2 per inning if you wait him out. And now time called as Marlins want to talk over strategy with Chen here.
Season high is 4. Davis, the pitching coach, has his say.
Three RBI night for Culberson last night. Couple of doubles. Braves had 6 2-base hits in the game yesterday. Another here might score a couple of runs. 4-1 game, 2 on, 2 out. Chen gets ahead. Strike one. Mentioned the top 4 hitters on the lineup card for the Braves having such a productive road trip. Chen today has held that group to 1 hit, 1 walk. And the 0-1 pitch. Good take, even count.
He does a nice job. I was talking about his mechanics earlier and his delivery. Even out of the stretch, he seems to be kind of, it looks like he's speeding up, and then it's change up. So he's really giving you a lot of motion, but maybe not the pitch that it looks like he's about to throw.
That's hammered toward left. Long run. That ball's going to get down in front of Dietrich. That'll score 1. Acuna on his way to third. He's going to run through the stop sign. That's going to work out just perfectly. Charlie Culberson brings home 2 Atlanta runs with 2 outs, and we've got a 1-run game.
Well, he trades places with Ender instead. And that's a good thing because there were 2 runners on. 14th double already for Charlie in limited playing time. Like a little cutter, kind of sailed right into the barrel. And again, Dietrich is an infielder by trade. The ball really did bite in the grass, and then a bad throw on the relay.
So the Braves, with more of that 2-out magic you talked about, bring up Freddie Freeman with chance to tie the game or take the lead. 4-3 score. And a line drive caught. Riddle played Freddie perfectly in the shift, and that will take care of the Braves in the 5th. But they've made it a 1-run game thanks to Charlie Culberson's double. With this ticket package, fans will get a limited edition Chipper Hall of Fame poster and a discounted $15 outfield ticket, good for the July 30th through August 1st series. Head to Braves.com, Chipper Hall of Fame, and get your game ticket and poster today. So July 30th through August 1st, that'll be when the Braves host the Marlins Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. At the finale of a 7-game homestand for the Braves, which starts Thursday night. Chen drives the first pitch toward the gap in left center field. That's out toward the Bermuda Triangle. Ender has to run forever to catch up to it, and Chen has a lead-off double. Boy, that hurts.
It really does. Can still have the shutdown inning, but fastball down the middle, teed off on by the pitcher. And to the right spot, too. Anyone else, that's an easy stand-up triple.
His first career double. And now at the top of the order, and Dietrich. Dietrich struck out an 8-pitch at bat in the first inning. He singled and scored back in the third. And he does his job. He rolls to first. That'll get Chen to third with 1 out. Productive out for Dietrich.
So now Julio's got to make some good pitches.
Anderson's tagged him for 2 singles. He scored 2 of the 4 Miami runs. Infield comes in. Anderson with 49 runs knocked in, looks for number 50 here. One ball, no strikes. That hit him. So Anderson won't be able to drive in the run. He gets hit by a pitch that sets up a double play. Real Muto, the hitter, he's knocked in 3 runs with a homer and a sac fly. And you're right about Julio. He's not just missing, he is missing by a good foot.
And he's been especially missing to that side of the plate, so no surprise that he plunked Anderson. His 5th hit batter of the year, most on the team.
Oh, for a double play ball here. Realmuto's hit into 6 double plays this season. Anderson's the team leader with second on the team with 14. Rojas with 17 double plays. And they have 3 guys in double digits in double play balls. One ball, no strikes. Bohr waits next. Julio's walked him twice.
Pretty good pitch, had good movement, but again too far off the plate to get a borderline call. Don't give in here, because he might have the green light. Can still make a good pitch, get a strike, with a chance of getting a double play on the next one.
Bouncing ball. Play at the plate. The throw off target and safe. Chen didn't slide. The throw sailed on Swanson. Flowers applied the tag late, and the Marlins get a gift run.
That was a great idea by Dansby. They were not going to get a double play on Realmuto. He comes home, but his throw is too far off the mark. Or so it appeared.
Well, you got to take a look at this just to be sure. It was close. But you're right. Right play by Dansby. The throw just off target. If it's on the money, they've got Chen pretty easily.
He's out. I think he's out. I'm watching the big screen here in the ballpark. They had it really slowed down. Maybe Chen's heel was down. That's the question. Tough call to make for Doug Eddings on a bang-bang tag and no slide especially.
So the initial call was safe. As always, is there enough evidence to change the call on the field? And the verdict is in, and he is safe. Don't think you can argue that one.
No.
So it's a 5-3 game. That throws 6 inches closer. They've got Chen dead to rights, but no such luck. So the leadoff double to the Miami pitcher costs Atlanta a run. And here's Bohr, who's walked twice.
And now got to concentrate on not letting the inning get away.
A base hit to center. Anderson around third is going to get waved. Ender won't have a throw. So Bohr drives home his 47th run. The hit batsman comes back to haunt Julio. First and second, 2 in, 1 out, and a 6-3 score.
And they get the 2 runs right back.
And Chuck Hernandez is on his way out to the mound to give Julio a breather. Braves bullpen has gotten busy. It's Sam Freeman up first.
One of his keys this afternoon was spot the fastball. He's been unable to do that.
And for whatever reason, partner, the Marlins seemingly have Julio's number the last 4 or 5 times out. They've given him trouble head-to-head.
Yeah, they have. They've also been very aggressive on the first pitch tonight or this afternoon that has paid off for them.
So 2 in, 2 on, 1 out. Starlin Castro's the batter. He's hit into a double play. Number 12 for Castro. Number 13 for number 13 would be just fine from the Braves' perspective. And he didn't mean to swing. There's a break. Strike 1. Right there, a strike. As it now stands, Julio's next starting assignment will also be against Miami. It said that's the most difficult task a starter can have. Face the same opponent in back-to-back outings. His next turn would be on Monday.
I thought it'd be on Sunday. No?
Braves haven't announced a starter for Sunday. High fly ball deep left. Acuna going back as far as he can go, and that one's gone. A 3-run homer for Castro, and the inning did get away from Julio. All this trouble started with a double to the pitcher. Maybe a good throw at the plate. You might not have gotten to Castro, but Julio did, and Castro hit his 8th home run. He's got 40 RBIs, and Miami with a 5-run 5th will chase the Braves starter. Julio will leave, allowing 9 runs in 4 1/3 innings today. Hasn't been a pleasant South Beach cruise for the Braves today. The Marlins have dropped up Julio Teheran for 9 runs in 4 1/3 innings of work. And now Sam Freeman will try to restore a little bit of order and get the Braves bats in play entering the 6th.
Sam pitched at Washington. Gave up a hit to the only batter he faced. Did not record an out. His ERA is bumped up a little bit. He hopes to have a better second half. He actually had a real good beginning to the first half. Wow, that is something to be concerned about. Over 7 starts.
Now, Julio said with his chat with Paul Bird, he's not a morning person. Those numbers would lead you to believe that that's the case as far as the pitching is concerned. And here's 7 ERA in his last 7 day starts. And for whatever reason, the Marlins have Julio's number. And I think you hit it on the head. They were real aggressive early in the count. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 7 hits for Julio. So 1 ball, 2 strikes from Martin Prado. And a ground ball left side. Dansby dives and knocks it down. That's all he can do. And the first batter faced for Freeman reaches on an infield hit in a perfect spot at deep short. Sam making sure Dansby's all right. When he made his dive, he may have landed on the ball.
I thought he did too.
Here's Riddle. Ground ball to Charlie. Dansby the turn. And that is that. Productive inning for the Marlins. They get 5 runs. Castro had the big blow, but the one that hurt most was a leadoff double to the pitcher. His first appearance in Atlanta as a Dodger. Remember, he was just in town with the Baltimore Orioles. That's our T-Mobile's built for baseball. And one key, I would imagine, Joe, for the Braves is to avoid what's happened today with Miami. You got to try to keep the ball in the ballpark against that Dodger club.
No doubt about it. This month, 13-5, best ERA in baseball, and 25 home runs. They wore the Braves out with long balls out at Chavez Ravine.
So nobody could bury the Dodgers when they get off to that slow start. Well, here they are. In the National League West, LA with a 1.5 game lead over Arizona, 2.5 over Colorado. The Giants 5.5 back. So The weigh-in Chen stake to a 9-3 lead now. Miami with 5 in the 5th. Extended a 4-3 advantage. Nick Markakis will try to keep his 11-game hit streak alive. Chen's held him down with a strikeout and a ground out. He's 0 for 2. And that just missed. High hopper hit towards second, and the throw to first gets Markakis. There's the first out. Tyler has struck out and walked. He too with a 4-game hit streak working. Play a strike.
And Chen now with big lead can not be quite so fine and use his fastball more. Last inning when he gave up a couple runs, he was throwing a lot of sliders, curveballs. Got him in trouble.
That's hammered down the line, but headed for the camper's foul. And Derek Dietrich will corral that loose ball. It's quickly 0-2.
A lot of colorful t-shirts here today, that's for sure, from the campers.
That'll pump up the attendance. They had 8,200 here last night. A lot more than that in the daylight hours today. The 0-2. He's off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'll tell you this, we're all thankful there's a roof. It has been storming, thunder, lightning for the game last night and again this morning. Makes you wonder how you ever got a series completed with any regularity.
Isn't that the truth?
At Pro Players Stadium.
Yeah.
Which is of course north of here, but still.
And a little further from the ocean than this ballpark.
The 2-2 pitch to Tyler is just inside.
As our friend Gino at the hotel last night was telling us and giving us a weather education about warm air over the land, cool air off the ocean, storms.
Yes.
Bang. Well, storm.
Yes, exactly right. 3-2 pitch. That might have been his thunder.
Could have been.
Recreating. 9 runs, 8 hits for Miami, 3-4-1 for the Braves. Barring a comeback, are staring at a 2-2 trip with a rained out game to be made up August 7th in Washington.
Braves still have a makeup game with Washington that you just mentioned, the Cubs, and with the Mets, right?
We've got the Cubs. That is on the 30th of August, I think. That's an off day in between the Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh series at SunTrust. That's going to be interesting. You got Tampa Bay playing well. The Pirates riding a 10-game win streak at the moment. Got the Cubs in there. And oh, by the way, we wrap up that portion of the homestand with 3 against the Red Sox.
So
2 out. And Mr. Chen has 4 strikeouts in the game. And that's in for a strike.
Disappointing part about the bottom of the 5th inning is that the Braves had just cut the lead down to 1 with the double by Culberson. And another big inning by an opponent. They come in 5s.
One ball, 1 strike for Camargo. And out of play for Johan, who hit a home run in the 2nd inning. His 10th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a slow roller. Chen gloves, grabs, throws badly at first. Bohr got leather on it. That saved a throwing error, perhaps. And Camargo has a 2-hit game with an infield hit.
Good thing Martin ducked.
Well, we told you at the start of this series, forget about the Marlins record. They have put together a very impressive run. They've won 9 of their last 11 series. And since June 5th, they're 23-20 in 2018 play. I mean, this is a club that right now is 16 games under 500. Got off to a terrible start. But you know what? They're not going to go to the playoffs, but they sure as heck are going to determine who does in this division.
I'm not sure what this discussion's about with a 6-run lead, 2 outs and a runner at first, but that'll bring Ender to the plate. And time for our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. Last 5 seasons, Ender among the league leaders, MLB leaders in hits after the All-Star game. Only Altuve has more. Talked about Ender last night. He bumped his post All-Star game average in his career up to 320 entering play today.
And added to that total with a 2-strike base hit in the 5th. Tries to bunt here. Second time he's tried that. And he's behind 0-1. Season high in pitches for Chen now at 96. And so the Miami bullpen is getting ready. It's a bullpen that I would assume will have a very different look, perhaps by the next time Miami comes to town. There are a lot of names out there that are being talked about as being available for trade before the non-waiver deadline. No balls and a strike. That just missed. One of those names down there is Drew Steckenrider. We talked about Chen's crazy splits. If he comes in the game, we'll tell you about his splits against Atlanta and everybody else.
Yeah.
Bouncing ball foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miami hosts the Nationals in the next series.
Give Don Mattingly some credit. In the bottom of the 5th, and the Braves had made the score 4-3. Chen did not look good. Would have been easy to pinch hit for him leading off the inning, but he let him go back out there because he needed 5 innings with the lead to get a win. And lo and behold, he gets a rally started.
His first career double led to the first of 5 Marlins runs. And now he's a strike away from pitching 6 at home. And missed, however. It's a full count. So Chen gets to 100 pitches. And sharply hit to short. One play, it's to first. Riddle with a nice effort, and that is that for Atlanta in the 6th. 9-3 Miami the lead. Chen, a nice job again at home. change. Every one of those purchased receives you a customized Braves lunchbox featuring Freddie Freeman and Ender Inciarte. Head to Braves.com/back to school and get your ticket and lunchbox today.
You know, I was remiss yesterday not asking you what you put in your lunchbox, but then you told me you didn't have a lunchbox.
Didn't have a lunchbox.
I'm sorry. We're going to have to fix that at home.
Yeah. It's really disappointing. Brown paper bag it.
Oh.
You know, and you stick your brown paper bag, your lunch, put it in your backpack, go to school, and you find your big algebra book just smashes everything. Go to lunch. There's nothing worse as Magnolia Sierra leads off and fouls it back. You're looking forward all day to two classes, lunch and recess, right? Open up your lunch bag, got that big kind of peanut butter stain on the bottom of the brown paper bag because you know the saran wrap got pulled apart. You open up your peanut butter and jelly sandwich and the jellies just leak through the bread. It's a big squishy mess.
Yeah, I only have one question about that.
Yeah.
Whose algebra book were you carrying around?
Wasn't mine. Wasn't mine, that's for sure. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss by Sierra. And he'll be thrown out at first. Freeman takes care of the Marlins center fielder who's down on strikes for the second time. Cameron Maybin's going to pinch hit for Chen. He went 6 innings, a 3-run ball today. Chen's in line for his 3rd win of the season. His home ERA will jump up just a bit, but he was given a 9-run tally so far today. So he's in good shape. Freeman has his first strikeout.
Good work by Sam so far. Gave up the infield hit to deep short, then got the double play ball. Now a strikeout.
No balls and a strike. On the days you didn't take your lunch to school, did you have the school bought lunch?
Cafeteria
lunch?
Yeah, I still can't get that smell of warm milk out of my.
I was just going to say that.
Those cartons.
Isn't that amazing how warm that milk was? That and the that rectangular piece of pizza that they have that just I don't know what that was on top of there, but
it was cardboard underneath.
Yeah, that was rough.
There's one of their bullpen tradable commodities. Brad Ziegler loosening up.
2 balls and a strike.
I'm told that there are scouts galore all over the Braves system, scouting Braves minor leaguers.
Makes sense.
And it doesn't, not just AAA and AA, but all the way down because of all the good prospects the Braves have.
I can only imagine how hard it is going through your checklist to draft players, projectability, what they're going to look like 3, 4, 5 years down the road when they're ready to get to the big leagues and play. But now when you're talking about potentially dealing quality known commodities at the major league level for those same prospects, as Maybin has struck out looking. When you talk about trading a guy like Giancarlo Stanton or Yelich or Ozuna or pick your controllable player, you better be right on that as well. And you think of the pressure that's involved in those decisions by the scouts and the cross checkers. Man, oh man, as the clock ticks toward July 31st. Gary Dietrich, the batter, he's leading off today. He's singled, he's scored, he's struck out, and he's grounded out. Braves are down 9-3. Don't forget, after the Braves hit in the 7th inning, it'll be time for the stretch presented by Synovus, the Bank of Here. 9 runs, 8 hits for Miami, 3 runs, 5 hits for the Bravos today. Freeman ready for his 18th pitch. And that missed low, ball 3. I know we just had the All-Star break, but I'll speak honestly. I'm kind of ready to exile the suitcase for a few days. Don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I'm going to put it in its own room, shut and lock the door when we get home tonight.
Well, and don't open it.
Yeah. Just strike.
Remember former Atlanta Brave Thomas Short?
Yeah.
Just do what he used to do, and that's take your suitcase on the road trip. When you come home, just park it. He'd park it in front of his locker. Next road trip, it went right back out with him and never got opened.
3-2.
Miss Wimpy. Haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he'll come to Alumni Weekend.
Yeah. Maybe he'll come out when the Dodgers are in town.
Yeah.
That'd be great to see him. Now the 3-2 pitch for Dietrich is pulled to the right side. Has it roll up the arm of Culberson. Then he can't find the handle. Tough break for Charlie. Clean play, and he's got a chance to get Dietrich. No such luck, and the inning continues.
Isn't that just the way, though? You make a good stop on a hot smash, and then you can't pick it up.
So a rare error for an Atlanta infielder. The second error of the game for the Braves, and that brings up Anderson, who scored 3 runs for the Marlins. Their 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters have scored 7 of their 9. Similar to what the Braves 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters did last night. Up the middle, that almost took Sam with it. Wow. The throw's going to go to third. It's off target. It hits the umpire. And now Anderson's going to move up as Camargo and Freeman can't pick up the ball near the third base coaching box. Ender threw that ball to third base. It was off target, and that allows Anderson to move up 90 feet.
His second error of the game, if you can believe that. And each time it was when Dietrich was going first to third. Remember, the first one got under him. This time he came up throwing, but well off the mark. And I don't know, that error might go to Camargo. Big day for Anderson.
3 hits, 3 runs after an 0 for 3 game last night, and a sloppy game 2 by the Braves in Miami today. 9-3 Marlins lead. And now Real Muto a chance to do some more damage. He's had a big day. And the error does go to Ender, his second of the game. Oh, now they changed that. It's now an E5.
I think that's the right call. That was a catchable throw.
So 2 errors in the inning, 3 in the game. And a strike. 1-2.
Story goes on Real Muto that he was a shortstop in high school, all world. But the Marlins saw him catch when their regular catcher was pitching one day for his high school team, and a light bulb went on.
Fly ball to center, and Ender will catch this one, and that retires the side.
And they actually talked to him about if they drafted and signed him, would he move to catcher? Obviously he said okay.
Stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Great to see our old pal Tommy Hutton, broadcaster with the Miami Marlins, with the fish up 9-3. He's coming in puffing his chest out and gloating a little bit too much today.
Didn't see him yesterday, did we?
No, he didn't show up yesterday. Only when the Marlins are leading does Tommy show up.
They got a lead, and there he is.
Full front runner.
Yep.
Here's Brad Ziegler, his 50th game. Ziegler, an interesting guy, closing experience, but it's that arm angle which I think makes him an intriguing addition to anybody's bullpen.
Still something different for the hitters to have to deal with as Maben stays in the game to play left field.
And a squib shot hit toward Bohr at first. Race to the bag, and Ziegler gets there in time for the first out. Mentioned John Paul Morosi of Fox Sports. He's always got his ear to the ground as far as potential trade discussions. We mentioned Drew Steckenrider. Apparently the Red Sox are expressing interest in him. So we'll see if that comes to pass with a week to go before the non-waiver trade deadline.
Steckenrider's a local Atlanta guy.
Preston Tucker grabs a bat. And he swings at the first pitch. Another nice play by Ziegler. 2 quick outs.
Ziegler doesn't throw hard. He's been around a while. That arm angle doesn't mean it's a real soft tosser, but he's got to throw it around 85, 86 just to get it to sink. Slider and a changeup to go with it.
Acuna 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Where's Bowie Kuhn when you need him? If the Red Sox get any more help, just raise the white flag. They've already got 71 wins. They're 40 games over 500. And have opened up a whopping 6-game lead over the Yankees in the East.
I don't think the Red Sox are going to stop at anything. They're going to go get whatever they need. But so is Houston. And Houston is the team that most everybody else is afraid of in postseason because of their frontline pitching.
And they've got a ton of it, don't they?
Yeah.
With Verlander, Keuchel, McCullers, Morton, Garrett Cole. That is some kind of staff for the Astros, who have a 5-game lead over Seattle. As that one's fouled away. Saw an amazing stat on the Mariners the other day. They've won 60 of their first 100 games. Now I'm going to check the stat pack here. Seattle has scored 423 runs. They've allowed 422.
Goodness.
They have a +1 run differential, but they're 20 games over 500.
That's
almost impossible.
Yeah, it is.
And the way that they've done that is they have a very good bullpen. They win almost every 1-run game they play. The Mariners are 26-12 in 1-run games.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Outstanding.
Ziegler 3 up 3 down, and it's time to stretch. Miami with a big lead in game 2. On the stretch a moment ago, Dan Winkler is the new Atlanta pitcher. The third man to pitch for the Braves today. Bohr, Castro, and Prado are coming up first, and Dan delivers a quick strike.
44th appearance for Dan. His only appearance on the road trip was at Washington, an inning, 2 hits, a run, no walks, a strikeout, gave up a homer.
Sam Freeman, an inning and 2/3 with 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. Also got a double play ball off the bat of Riddle. And now Bohr behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers play the Phillies later on tonight. Maeda and Nola. Braves started play today, percentage points ahead of the Phillies in the division. Actually 1 percentage point ahead, to be exact. Nola going for his 13th win. The Phillies are 14-6 when he starts.
And I keep hearing that the Phillies are looking for a frontline guy. It might even be Cole Hamels to bring him back. And when I hear that, I think how How front line you got to be? Good pitch.
Boers called out.
How front line you got to be when you got Aaron Nola with 12 wins?
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the experience factor. The only guy in that staff is Jake Arrieta, who has any kind of postseason or playoff experience, but that's only one guy. And when you're matching up with, let's say you match up with Houston or the Dodgers or the Yankees or Red Sox, that experience certainly would pay, you would think.
Things have changed for Dan, and not in a good way, over his first outings of the year.
That's walloped to center. Ender on the run, heading toward that 407 side. And Castro is retired. He's already homered once today, and that's the second out.
Well, and Arrieta has not pitched well.
Correct. And so if all these contending teams are looking for the same thing, that means the price is going to go up, and then the challenge for the general managers and the scouting directors and ownership is to take a big gulp and say, okay, are we willing to pay the very heavy price for what's available? Again, not easy to do. As Martin Prado with 2 outs.
I'm asking a question because I don't know. Are there any starting pitchers out there that are available? You know, that type of guy, that type of frontline guy.
Well, I guess you have to ask. I mean, a lot of folks have talked about Chris Archer.
Okay.
All right, in Tampa Bay. They're 19 games out of first place. They're not going to the playoffs this year. But they're trying to get a new ballpark. They're trying to create fan interest. They've somehow found a way to win 51 games. They already are woefully short in the starting department, so much so that they have to use relievers to start games 2 times through the rotation, and they just lost Blake Snell to the DL. He's on the shelf. But Archer has a very team-friendly contract. But if you want him, you'd probably have to overwhelm them.
Well, they'd want pitchers in return,
right?
I would think. Anyway, I just nothing jumps out at me. Well, off the top, I mean, you talk about Cole Hamels. He's not pitching well either.
Well, okay, let's stay within our division. You want DeGrom or Syndergaard? Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
Number one, the Mets have to be willing to move him, or them. I'm not sure that they are. But what kind of haul would Jacob DeGrom bring back to the New York Mets?
I'm trying to think of guys that might be potential free agents that a team would move because they're not going to re-sign him or be able to.
Yeah, I don't have that list off the top of my head.
You don't hear that talked about.
Little pop behind first, long run Freddie, and what a play at the line. He overran it and recovered and almost did a back bend to make that play in foul ground. Looking up into the rafters, and a long run behind the first base bag. A basket catch for Freddie Freeman sends us to the 8th. Anniversary on this date in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. The infamous Pine Tar game between the Royals and the Yankees. Billy Martin, Tim McClellan, and here comes George.
That was ugly. So Joe Brinkman's the umpire of this guy. Now watch Joe's reaction here. I'm telling him, I got him, let him go. And Joe's going to say, right here, he's going to say, are you sure? Okay, you got him? Really? Okay.
Joe Simpson, the strongest man in baseball. Can you believe that was 35 years ago?
No, that's the sad part right there.
Holy cow.
Mercy.
As Adam Conley is the new pitcher. We've seen this guy so many times, Adam Conley, and wonder what's up with him.
We love him because every time we see him, he's dazzling.
Yeah.
He was a starter. He's been back in the minor leagues. Brought back up. Rojas checks in at first base. Throws hard. Good stuff. Weird arm angle. Tough on lefties. Good ERA this year. A lot of strikeouts. He would be a nice piece for somebody to try to pry away from him.
Well, what was George saying on the bench before McClellan pointed the bat at him and said, hey, you're out?
No, he said, if they call me out, I'm going nuts. And he did. True to form.
So,
but nobody really expected anything to happen. I think Frank White was one of the guys who said, you know what? I think they're talking about the pine tar and they might call you out.
Really?
And that's when George responded.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Conley gets Charlie Culberson to swing and miss. That's how the 8th inning starts. So the game was suspended, right?
Correct. No, it was.
Or played under protest?
Yes. Yes.
So the game was played under protest. You guys had to come back to New York?
We did. On an off day, finished the game. Played the last bottom of the 9th and finished the top of the 9th.
A base hit for Freddie Freeman against the lefty. Boy, he is locked in, folks. Freddie's hit the ball hard 4 more times today, and he's 2 for 4 as a result. Well, Don Mattingly played in that game, and you've told the story before, but for the fans who have not heard it before, Billy Martin had all kinds of shenanigans up his sleeve when the game had to resume at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it was a different umpiring crew than the original. And he was complaining that people had batted out of order, that base runners weren't where they were supposed to be, and the umpires and the umpiring crew that was on site at the time, Davey Phillips was the crew chief. He had sworn affidavits in his back pocket anticipating Billy trying something, and he had sworn affidavits swearing that this is the situation, this is how many outs there are, this is who is due up, etc., etc.
How smart is that for Billy Martin to try that? But how smart was it for baseball and the umpires to have thought 1 or 2 steps ahead of Billy Martin to make sure that that move was checkmated?
I would say that that would be really bright, but since they knew Billy so well, they were probably already having a committee meeting like, okay, what did we miss before we go?
Good point.
But George Steinbrenner wasn't going to open the gates. We didn't know we were going to play.
Whoa, that's up and in. And Freeman's going to try to move up, and he will as the throw off target from Real Muto.
That had to be a scary pitch for Nick.
So Steinbrenner was so incensed he wasn't going to open the gates?
Yeah, he wasn't sure that. He wasn't sure he wanted to allow this to happen. And then eventually they did, and there were a couple hundred people who'd come in to watch.
Well, Don Mattingly finished that game with the Yankees at second base. As there's ball 4 outside to Markakis, so he strikes out Culberson, does Conley, then gives up a hit and a walk to the left-hand hitters. That might be what exasperates the current Marlins manager about Mr. Conley.
That's right. Yeah, there was another weird one in there too.
I think it was Ron Guidry played the outfield.
He did. Yeah, Guidry was in the game.
So happy anniversary 35 years ago. The infamous Pine Tar game at Yankee Stadium. Tyler Flowers the batter, 2 strikeouts and a walk. 9-3. The Marlins have the lead. And we're talking about where you go to get pitching if you want to acquire one of those so-called frontline starters. Compounding the problem. Braves might be looking for one. The Phillies, Nationals, Cubs, Brewers, Cardinals, Arizona, Colorado. So that's off the top of your head 8 teams looking for the same thing just in our league.
Yeah, a lot of fishermen out there. There's just not many fish.
Yeah.
And you better go with some real good bait or you're not going to get anything.
1 ball, no strikes. A swing and a miss, and an even count for Tyler. And the non-waiver trading deadline, I believe, is 4 o'clock Eastern time. Next, oh, what's today? Today's Tuesday, so it'll be next Tuesday, the 31st.
It'll be fun to watch.
And we'll be home. We'll be in Atlanta, so it's exciting at least to think about the possibilities for this Braves club. Think about where we were 3.5 years ago. Braves were beginning to sell. It's nice to think about adding with the team in first place. Ground ball to third. Step on the bag. Long throw across the diamond, and Rojas the stretch. And Tyler Flowers doubled up, and that ends the Atlanta 8th. 9-3. Miami in command. Ball in the park in Miami. Real Muto and Castro have hit 2 homers, accounting for 5 runs for the Marlins today. Jesse Biddle will be the 4th pitcher, 3rd reliever. Freeman, Winkler, and now Biddle have followed Julio Teheran. And Jesse's done nice work. He's been quite a find for the Braves.
Absolutely, he has been. Good work in Washington. Third of an inning, no damage with runners aboard. He came back and worked an inning yesterday with a walk and a strikeout.
Riddle, Sierra, and Maben are coming up.
Let me correct that. Jesse's work was in Washington 2 innings. Did not pitch yesterday. I'm all confused. I got pencil problems.
Uh-oh. Really?
Oh yeah. Just when you think you're okay for the end of the road trip.
Yep. What's the deal? Out of lead?
Yep. Well, sorta. Gotta go over here in my bag of tricks.
Uh-oh. So that pen, is that on the 15-day or 60-day DL?
I think that is on the restricted list.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And serve toward third, but Camargo had Riddle played well. There's the first out. And one away. And here's Sierra. Sierra doesn't have much to show for his line today. A couple of strikeouts. He did hit the ball on the ground in the 4th inning, and I would think just looking at him, that's going to have to be his game. Slap the ball around, use his legs.
Yeah, he can run for sure.
That's a strategy that served Juan Pierre very well. As this one just to first, a great play by Freeman. That saved 2, maybe 3 bases.
Gosh. Great catch to rob Prado of a little blue pit last inning. Talk about the long arm of the law here.
Whew. Yeah, nice. He doesn't get that. That's in the corner. And Sierra 0 for 4. Here's Maben, who struck out his first and only time up. Just joining us, story of this game was another inconsistent outing by Julio Teheran. His last 8, 1 good, 1 bad, 1 good, 1 bad. Today was one of those bad ones. 8 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. A couple of homers, a hit batsman, 7 hits for the Braves starter. Atlanta tried to keep him in the game. It was 4-3 entering the bottom of the 5th inning. But you could see Julio wilt just a bit after Wei Yin Chen doubled on the first pitch of that 5th inning. A ground out, a hit batsman. A ground ball to short. Dansby threw to the plate. His throw was off target. Chen scored the first run of the inning. Bohr then singled, then Castro, after a meeting on the mound, jumped all over an early pitch in the count and hit a 3-run homer, and that was it for Julio today. Game in a blink of an eye went from 4-3 to 9-3. So you got to figure that out. And Thursday, Anibal Sanchez will be the first out of the chute for the Braves against the Dodgers. We hope Ozzie Albies will be ready to return for Atlanta.
I would guess that he will be.
He has not played in this series, which was the plan. Off day tomorrow. Give another full day of rest and then turn him loose. Dodgers have not named their starters yet. But I would imagine Hill and Kershaw will be in the offing at some point in those 4 games. Mike Foltynewicz Friday, Sean Newcomb Saturday. The Braves have not announced a starter on Sunday. And that's upstairs. Maben takes ball 3. That's foul past Freddie Gonzalez. And we'll do it again. much bigger crowd in Miami for the day game with all the kid campers. 21,673. Camargo knocked it down, but it pops out of his glove, and Cameron Maben has an infield hit. That's 10 hits for the Marlins. Everything going their way at the plate today.
If it just corralled it a little closer, he still had a chance to get Cameron. But it rolled too far away.
So here's Miguel Rojas. He had a hit last night. He got 10 hits against the Braves this year. He's been a tough out for Atlanta. And that's upstairs, ball one. Two balls, one strike. On the ground to second, and Culberson will make the peg. And it's last chance for Atlanta as we go to the ninth inning.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
We go to the ninth. 9-3. Miami has the lead. They've wrapped out 10 hits, 2 homers. One by Real Muto, one by Castro. And here's Drew Steckenrider, who will try to protect a 6-run lead against a Braves team that has absolutely destroyed him in 3 games this year. Braves have scored 10 runs in an inning and a third, inning and 2/3 against the Marlins righty this year. As that one's hit toward left, and an easy play for the first out.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
But Steckenrider 3-0 with a 1.49 ERA against everybody else.
Yeah.
That is an amazing statistical oddity, kind of like Chen, home versus road.
Out of Greater Atlanta Christian Academy. Mid to upper 90s fastball. Slider and a changeup.
He's been busy. Third among National League relievers with 49 relief appearances now. 12th among National League relievers with 51 strikeouts. He had a career-long 19 2/3 scoreless inning streak that ended on July 19th. Or excuse me, July 9th. And he's given up runs in 4 of his last 5 appearances, but still, the overall body of work very good for Drew Steckenrider. Another chance in left for Maben near the line. He's there, and the Braves are down to their last out. Ryan Flaherty's grabbed a bat. He'll hit if Dansby can keep the game alive. Dansby's 0 for 3.
Talk a lot about the Dodgers and their home run prowess. Well, pitching wise, the Dodgers are coming to town with the best ERA, the fewest runs allowed, the fewest walks, and the most strikeouts. Not a bad staff either.
No. Popped up right side. That's going to do it. Rojas is under. And the Marlins throttle the Braves in game 2 and even up the series. 9-3 today's final score. We'll recap it for you right after this.